So our hybrid encryption approach combines traditional methods with quantum safeguards, quantum authentication backed by our principle of crypto agility. So that means in the future, once a quantum computer is available, it may require rapid substitution of new algorithms because nobody really knows what a quantum computer is capable of until it exists.
Welcome to another episode of the Unicorns podcast. I'm your host, Justin Kelly. Today we're joined by Andrew Wilson, the CEO of Senetas, an ASX-listed Australian cybersecurity company that's been protecting some of the world's most sensitive information for more than 20 years. It's been a transformative year for Senetas. The company sold its Votiro subsidiary and in the process secured a $17.1 million strategic stake in US-based Menlo Security, a fast-growing firm with recurring revenues and potential IPO upside. Senetas has sharpened its focus on its core encryption business, reporting $19.3 million in revenue, $3.4 million in profit before tax, and gross margins of 87%. The balance sheet is strong, $11.6 million in cash, no debt, and net tangible assets of $46.7 million. Looking ahead, Senetas is pursuing its largest ever sales pipeline, with government and defence contracts across the Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and North America. The company is also investing in post-quantum encryption, embedding new algorithms into its products to protect customers against tomorrow's threats. Trusted in more than 60 countries, Senetas delivers secure file sharing solutions and both hardware and virtualized network encryption that is network independent, crypto agile, and quantum resistant. Andrew, welcome back to the Unicorns.
Thanks, Justin. Great to see you again. Great to be here.
How would you describe, Andrew, the state of the cybersecurity market today? Are customers spending with more confidence, or is caution still the theme with disruption from US tariffs and increasing global conflict?
Look, I'd say that, there's still strong fundamentals in the cybersecurity market. There's still strong demand, but there's short-term volatility driven by the things you've just mentioned: geopolitical tensions, trade conflicts, inflation, and of course, import tariffs. They've created some headwinds that has resulted in some customers being cautious and delaying, large budget decisions. But I think overall, the fundamentals for the cybersecurity market are very strong. Cyber attacks are increasing in both severity and frequency, and governments and enterprises worldwide are more alert to this and the importance of protecting sensitive data. Obviously we see high-profile breaches that reach board levels and affect shareholders. That's not going away anytime soon.
Because the threats are always there, aren't they?
Yeah, the threats are always there, and they're growing in complexity and they're growing in severity. And the consequences are becoming very public.
So Senetas reported an underlying net profit of $1.5 million from continuing operations, a total reported profit of $27.8 million. That was through the sale of Votiro. On the core business result, Andrew, how did you see it and what were the main drivers?
Yeah, so look, our underlying business has always been profitable, certainly since 2012. I was a little bit disappointed by our performance last year, mainly because some large customer opportunities were delayed. So our revenue was slightly down. We're working to try and close those large deals this year. So I'm hoping there will be a bounce back in revenue growth and therefore profit growth. Of course, you have alluded to the sale of the Votiro business, and there was a large gain on that. But focusing on the core business, I think we are fundamentally strong with a strong balance sheet and profitable, and I expect that revenue and profit to grow in this financial year.
The divestment of Votiro gave Senetas a stake in Menlo Security, and that's worth over $17.5 million. Can you explain what Menlo Security is And what's the upside, do you think, as a result of this stake in Menlo?
Yeah, so Menlo is a fast-growing cybersecurity company based out of the US. The Votiro technology, CDR technology, is very complementary to their web browser isolation technology. They supply a large number of Fortune 500 companies, the US federal government, and lots of large enterprises through Asia. So the transaction wasn't just about cash; it was about a strategic stake in Menlo. And whilst we only have a small stake in that, valued at around 17.5 million, we do think there's upside for shareholders if Menlo continues to grow at the rate that they're growing.
So you ended the financial year with a cash balance of, I think it was just over $11 million, $11.3 million.
Yep.
A few months on, what are your plans with that war chest?
Yeah, so we have, we at 30th of June, we had $11.6 million in cash, no debt, very strong balance sheet with a net tangible asset backing of 2.4 cents per share. So this has allowed the board to consider a couple of things that we're putting up for approval at this year's AGM. Firstly, a $2 million capital return to shareholders. And a share.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice. Hopefully shareholders are happy with that. And a one for 100 to 1 share consolidation as well. Again, both subject to shareholder approval. So the board will continue to review further capital management initiatives as the cash flow in our business builds. And we are expecting more cash from the Menlo transaction around about February 2026, March 2026.
Strong margins though, Andrew. Looking at the operating business, revenue came in at just under 20 million. Margins rose to 87%. What are you putting that down to?
That's a combination of the mix of products we sold last year. We sold higher value, higher margin products. And also at the same time, we grew recurring maintenance revenue as a proportion of our overall revenue base. And that maintenance revenue is a very profitable item for the company.
I've seen that you have described this financial year as a year where Senetas is entering its largest ever sales pipeline. I'm very excited about that, Andrew.
Well, so am I.
So what does that mean? Shine a light on that for us in terms of markets or regions and opportunities.
Yeah, so you correctly pointed out it is our largest pipeline in our history. That's driven by some very large projects that we're working on in the Middle East, Asia, Latin America, and also North America. So there is a geographical spread. I see that as evidence of an increasing attention to the importance of encryption. And in some of those regions, we're uniquely able to address some specific customer concerns, such as sovereign encryption. So we have a sovereign encryption capability, which I think is globally unique. So these are the timing of these projects are difficult to predict. We're dealing with large government organizations and defense departments, but they are very significant with future growth potential. So I'm excited about what we're doing there. We have other longer term projects around the autonomous vehicles. Obviously, listeners to the Unicorns podcast would no doubt be following what's happening in Ukraine. The sort of warfare is transformed, drone warfare particularly, and we see that with EOS and also Drone Shield and the demand for their products as well. And of course, there are opportunities for encrypting sensitive information that drones communicate. So we are working with some organisations in relation to projects like that. So that's exciting. We're also seeing a massive increase in defence spending around the world. We hope that also translates into stronger demand for encryption. Of course, encryption techniques have been used for thousands of years by government defence organisations to protect sensitive data. So as that defence spending increases and also the attention to the importance of securing sensitive information, it is fundamentally has some strong tailwinds for cybersecurity companies and encryption companies, I think.
To drill down on that just a little further, and you've touched on it already, post-quantum encryption remains a big focus.
Yeah.
So what does quantum resistance actually mean in reality, and how is Senetas embedding these new algorithms into its products?
So just in its simple terms, quantum resistance means future-proofing data security. Because once a quantum computer matures, they could break today's standard algorithms like RSA and ECC. That's why Senetas has already embedded the NIST standard post-quantum algorithms into our products to ensure that our customers are safe once a quantum computer exists of sufficient power. So out of the box today, we could upgrade our products and run those algorithms to ensure our customers are safe. Yeah, so our hybrid encryption approach combines traditional methods with quantum safeguards, quantum authentication backed by our principle of crypto agility. So that means in the future, once a quantum computer is available, it may require rapid substitution of new algorithms because nobody really knows what a quantum computer is capable of until it exists.
I saw a great university lecturer talking about how no one understands quantum mechanics and quantum computing. And he was giving this lecture on day one and said, at the moment, I'm the only one who doesn't understand it. My goal is at the end of this class and this course, all of you won't understand it as well.
Yes, so, some interesting concepts in quantum physics world, such as teleportation. So we won't go into any more of that.
What are you saying, Andrew, in terms of customer behaviour? Are clients holding back on new purchases? Are they investing more in support and upgrades? What trends are you seeing?
Oh, look, I think I'm seeing more larger projects, particularly around sovereign algorithm projects in Latin America, also parts of Asia, including Japan and Malaysia. So that's an interesting trend. Also emerging opportunities in the Middle East. I see renewed demand for our product with the US federal government. So that's also pleasing to see. But of course, we do have this backdrop of geopolitical tensions, which may be good for us, but the impact of tariffs and the uncertainty around how they're applied does worry us somewhat. But, we'll just have to adapt.
Senetas has been around since 1999, protecting information in a sensitive way in more than 60 countries. So I'm keen to find out your approach, the company's approach to innovation, particularly in a field like this. How do you, Andrew, stay ahead of what your customers want, what your competitors are offering, and the various needs across different markets in which you operate?
Yeah, so good question. We reinvest quite a lot in R&D, so it's very important as an R&D company that we continue to employ the best and brightest minds and make appropriate investments in that space. Secondly, we have a global partnership with Thales. Some listeners may know who they are. We had a lot of field feedback from customers about what they'd like to see in our product in the future. So obviously that close customer contact is an important aspect of our future product roadmaps. Our innovation strategy revolves around three things: network agility, platform agility, and crypto agility. So as we focus on those things, we're able to, with that customer feedback and employing a couple of people around the world, looking at the future of networking, the future of encryption technologies, we're able to stay ahead of the curve, so to speak. And we've got a history of a number of world firsts where we launched the world's first quantum-powered encryptor in 2007 and the first hybrid classical quantum-resistant encryptor in 2020. So, they're significant innovations in a field that is moving pretty quickly.
And let's just look ahead, say over the next 12 months, 24 months. What can your customers, your clients, but also your shareholders expect from Senetas over over the near to short term?
So our priority this year is trying to close as many deals in that record pipeline in order to drive revenue growth. I guess that goes without saying. We've got a lot of large strategic projects that take a lot of effort to close, and so that's a significant focus. So obviously, pending shareholder approval, we hope to return some capital to shareholders. We'll also consolidate our shares, and we'll continue to review capital management options. And we hope at some point to potentially monetize our investment in the Menlo stake. So really, they're the focus areas this year, and of course, those large projects are delivering unique capability to some of these customers that can't find a solution like ours anywhere else. So we are bringing unique capabilities to some important customers around the world.
Andrew Wilson, CEO of Senetas, always great to chat to you. Thanks for coming onto the Unicorns today.
Thanks very much, Justin. I appreciate the opportunity.